I have to ask you about the German election. It was very alarming and upsetting to people that the alternative for Germany, the right-wing populist party, when we talk about a right-wing populist party in Germany that has references that are unmistakable, got 13% of the vote, I believe, which was considered very high by historical standards. What did that mean? I mean, on the one hand, that's awful. On the other hand, 13% doesn't seem to get you anywhere, and it's nowhere near getting them anywhere near power.
It doesn't get them near power, but it is a fundamental break with Germany's post-war history. Except in the very early years of a federal republic, in the first post-war years, you've never had a far-right populist party or far-right party at all in the German Bundestag. You have a 5% threshold, and the most that a far-right party got is 6% in, I think, 1953. And since then, they've always been below 5%. Now they're over twice as many votes. And this is a party, by the way, that is much more radical than somebody like Donald Trump in the views of immigration and minorities. It's a party that says explicitly there's no place for Islam in Germany. It's a party that says, some of whose members have said that they desire a 180-degree turn in our understanding of German history and the Second World War. It's a party whose leader said just a few weeks ago, using a Nazi term, Entsorgen, that if they won the election, they would dispose of social democratic politician of Turkish roots in Anatolia. It's a very extreme party. And so the fact that they have such a high share of the vote in a country that has the history that it does is deeply disturbing to me. Now, practically, it's true that they can't form a government, but they can do two things. The first is to dominate the public debate, as indeed they have over the last years, and thereby pull the whole political discourse to the right, and it's already far to the right to the United States on issues of immigration and national identity. And the second thing they can do is to render the political system more and more dysfunctional. Germany has a system of proportional representation. So basically, if you get about 10% of the vote, you have about 10% of the people in the Bundestag. It used to be that at most elections, the big party of the center-left and the small party of the center-left together could form a majority. And then they would become unpopular, the government would run out of steam, some people would shift to the moderate right, and then the big party of the center-right and the small party of the center-right could form a government instead. And that was really good, because it meant that you had alteration in government. It meant that there was a way of throwing the bums out without going to the extremes. Now you have a big far-left populist party that isn't in coalition with anybody else ever, and a big far-right populist party that isn't in coalition with anybody else ever. And the result of that is that voters don't know who they're going to get. There's always going to be some weird combination of the establishment parties. And that means that the first populist claim, which is that all the establishment is the same anyway, starts to be true, even if it wasn't. And the second effect of it is that it's impossible to throw the government out. If you say, you know what, Angela Merkel, by the time of the next election, if she stands again, is going to have been in power for 16 years. I want to get rid of Angela Merkel. The only sure way to do that is to vote for the extremes. And so I think they're likely to keep rising in the polls.